A relatively big part of the gaming industry used to be taken up by mobile games, fun little games that you can enjoy at home or on a car trip, but nowadays it seems as if these games have been taking a turn for the worse. So today I'm going to be discussing why the industry has fallen off tremendously and show the core reasons why mobile games suck now. Subscribe if you like this kind of content, as I'll be doing more. Let's get started. So I'll be breaking up this topic into four main sections. These will contain the reasoning for the decline of mobile games, starting off with this. I 100% guarantee you know where I'm going with this. You've all been on the likes of YouTube or an app or a website, and one day you're just chilling out, then all of a sudden this pops up. This is just a fraction of what everyone has seen. You know what, let's make a strong comparison. Take a look at these adverts of mobile games side by side that were released in the 2010s. Now look at these. Released in the 20s, I think it's pretty obvious that these creators are starting to care less about their marketing strategies. And sometimes it's just straight up clickbait. I'm sure you've seen Elvany the King's Return being advertised. All of their adverts say something like this.
So many fake mobile ads these days. The game looks all interesting in the ads, but when you download it, it's not even the same game at all. But today, I came across this game that is just how it's advertised.
Yeah, this is a flat out lie. This is what Elvany actually looks like. A generic grinding game that has been done to death. If you are going to promote ads that look like this, at least direct the consumer to the same game, because if it's a scam, they're just going to delete the app. Why not actually make the games that you are advertising? If someone sees a game that looks cool and the product is the same as its advertisement, then people won't delete the game and will play it. But the problem with this is, if the adverts are actually showing the games they were advertising, then it would lead to a repetition of games, which brings me to my next point. In the past, mobile games were actually good. They were fun, and they had effort put into them. They had ambition, they had heart put into them. But these days, there's no effort put into mobile games. Sometimes it takes an hour to beat, sometimes there are fake CPUs playing quote-unquote online games. Sometimes some games are just straight up copied. And I'm not talking rip-off games that stole lots of ideas from their predecessors. I'm talking about this. There is an inconceivable amount of cloned games which change almost nothing of the original product. Maybe a model is adjusted or a soundbite, but the core gameplay is still the same, which is sad to see. Sometimes people will make a poor effort game and the other producers see the game as the next big idea, which leads to this. And the games themselves feel very heartless. Pass through the correct door. Only 1% can beat this jump. Can you reach pink color in the next 5 seconds? No original ideas, no thought put into them, and it's not just newer companies doing this kind of stuff. PopCap is mainly known for its success of Plants vs Zombies. I know it isn't primarily a mobile game franchise, but it really got popular once it became one. Unfortunately, PopCap got bought out by EU. And what came out of that? Mountains of microtransactions planted into Plants vs Zombies 2, as well as an underwhelming demo of Plants vs Zombies 3. Now I know it's mainly EA's greedy fault for this decline, but it still happened and it's bad. And I know Nintendo is also not primarily a mobile game company, but they have a couple exclusives on phone, all plagued by greed. Dr. Mario World is dead now for some reason. Super Mario Run has a high price of £10, which is too much for a game on a phone, and Mario Kart Tour, which relies on hundreds of weekly microtransactions and subscriptions. £40 for a car and some rubies! And then there's Rovio, known for their Angry Birds. Well, it used to be. Now most of the games are deleted. They said the reason they did this was because their engines were getting too old for modern hardware, but with companies like Half-Brick and Septolab keeping up their similar games, this doesn't really seem to be true. Now luckily you can still easily get these games using APKs, but there's another problem. None of their newer games are amazing. Some are good, but not great. They made match game after match game after match game after match game, and then they made more low effort stuff. And let's not forget that one time when Rovio did this. I'm not kidding. This isn't something I pulled out of the dark web. This wasn't made by a creepy fan in a basement. This was something that they actually did. Just end me, please. Then when they were given $700 million to be bought out by Sega, we all thought that this would be a good move. Sega is a generally good gaming company who has created quality products in the past. But once Rovio gets a hold of the money, they decide to use some of it on an Amazon Prime show called Angry Birds Mystery Island. Someone come meet me personally and wake me up from this abominable nightmare. It's a lovely day, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are playing a game on your phone. And then at some point you fail the level, and then you run out of lives, and then you have to pay a currency, and then you don't have enough, so you end up spending real money on more lives. This is done in like every mobile game nowadays. Watch an ad for another try at luck, pay 30 rubies for 10 extra loot boxes, mega lucky prize for 10% off. At one point it might get overwhelming how many of these are in mobile games, to the point where you spend a tenner to buy a game. Mobile games these days seem to be a method to create free money with little to no effort put into it. In the 2010s they were not cash grabs, they weren't effortless, and they were actually made to entertain people. And there are still a handful of games on the new market today which aren't complete cancer. Stone Story is a cool and unique RPG which has thousands of sprites and took 9 years to make. Alto's Odyssey is an infinite stretch of desert where you can explore dunes and secrets in style. And I'm not getting paid for this. I should be. These are examples of modern mobile games done right, and I know there are other corporations who can step up their game. Voodoo started the trend of samey mobile gaming, but before all of that, they made Paper.io, a good game that Voodoo made. Make better mobile games. Hashtag make better mobile games. Spread the word. Subscribe for more gaming videos, mainly on Nintendo and some others. See you all next time.